Hello everybody and welcome back to Lunch King. Here we are in sunny West Dearborn. Of course, my name is Ryan, and we are going to be doing a little bit something different here on the show today. We're going to be doing something that I'm going to call the Michigan Avenue Corridor, or Journey Through the Michigan Avenue Corridor, something along those lines, name to be determined, you know, I think of that stuff on the fly. But anyway, it's a new series where we're going to be doing a bit of a different thing than we're used to, right? Instead of featuring a single restaurant or even a single just point in the city, we're going to be featuring the entire stretch of Michigan Avenue from here in West Dearborn all the way down to the Detroit area. I think you guys are going to like it a lot. It's going to be full of history, full of the culture of the area. You know, of course, we're still going to feature a little bit about the restaurants. This is still Lunch King. That is our focus, of course. And you know me, I like food. But anyway, we're going to be more focusing on the tourism, more focusing on the culture and the more overall aspects of this area. I really hope you guys are going to enjoy it. I'm kind of excited about it. That being said, let's get started here. Now, I quickly wanted to feature a little bit about the history of Dearborn and West Dearborn specifically while we're here. And no better spot to do that than at the Historical Museum here in Dearborn. Now, if you look behind me, you see this wonderful, what they would call federal style structure, where the military presence in Dearborn used to be based. This is the Commandants Quarters back in the day. Now, after that, it was used for many, many things. It was used as a gathering place for the city of Dearborn, for a lot of the cultural events. And it is still that today, if you think about the Historical Museum. But it was also used as I believe a fire station and a police station as well. So this building has seen many uses, many owners. And, well, now it's at its current iteration as the Historical Museum, which is sort of one of two different, I'd say, main historical museums in the city of Dearborn. We have this one, of course, and we have Greenfield Village, which is to my left that way a little bit. And we're going to be featuring a little bit about that in a second there. If you're a viewer of ours, you will have noticed that we have been there before. But regardless, this area, like I said, was sort of the central spot for Dearborn. Now, as you may or may not know, which, I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point, Dearborn is centered around the Ford Motor Company, centered around the legacy of Henry Ford. He was born and raised in this area, as you may or may not know, of course, and sort of built this from a farming town to the city that we know today. Now, before Ford got here, before he was the big shot car guy that he was, Dearborn was a farming town. It was a smaller area. So, of course, buildings like this are going to be the central gathering location on the main roads, on the main crossroads in Dearborn. But anyway, I figured I'd do a little bit about the history of the area, right? And we're going to start making our way down the road a little bit, do a little bit more of the culture, a little bit more of the modern stuff that's happening here. I wanted to feature West Dearborn because it does have a lot of new developments as well. So I think you guys are going to like that. The nice thing, though, if we're looking aesthetically, if we're looking visually, is the mixture that we'll see of old and new. And they really do play very nicely together. So I'm really excited about what we're having to, what we have here in West Dearborn, and I hope you guys are too. So let's take a walk down the road and see what they got to offer. Let's rock and roll. So we've moved our way down a little bit on Michigan Avenue. We're going to sort of start down here and make our way down the road a little bit. But I quickly wanted to feature some of the new and interesting developments here in West Dearborn. If you look behind me, you'll see a number of very new places that are going to sort of liven up this section of the street here. You'll see a range of options. We have, of course, Greek restaurants, Indian restaurants, and now, of course, a new Asian restaurant as well as cafes, among other things. Now, if we go a bit further to my left here, we have some bars and all that as well, some wonderful new developments. These buildings were recently renovated by the Ford Motor Company. Actually, they had bought this entire area and have begun to develop this part of the city. So I believe that's part of sort of a multifaceted idea where you're going to have offices and you're going to have restaurants and all that. Just a great way to liven up West Dearborn a little bit, sort of breathe some new life into it. Now, you'll join me. We're going to walk a little bit further down that way so I can quickly feature some of the restaurants there. But before we do, I wanted to give a quick shout out to one of my favorite restaurants behind me. We have the Modern Greek salad bar and cafe, I believe it's called. But it's very, very tasty. Highly recommend their lemon rice soup and their gyro platter. So if you are in the area when this whole shindig is lifted, be sure to stop by Modern Greek and give their food a try. And Paradis as well. It's another great place around here, but we'll feature them at a later date. So let's get going. We've made our way down the street a little bit. Now, I talked a little bit about this section being the new developments of West Dearborn here. And we have a couple of new places that are coming in real soon, as you can see. So, again, the variety is, starting to show itself, which is really nice to see. We're getting a lot of different places, a lot of different things to try, and you guys can rest assured that we're going to be coming back here to try all these places. So, these will all be featured soon enough. But we figured we'd give you an overview. Now, one place I wanted to shout out real quick that I have been to before and that it is quite good is this Longboard bar over here. Now this is something a bit unique for the area. I mean, because this is Michigan, right? We're in the far north. This is sort of like a Hawaiian surfer theme like bar, and they serve some really good pizzas and really good sandwiches and these unique bowls as well. So if you're in the area when the restrictions are lifted, of course, please do stop by Longboard. Tell them we say hi, of course. Now, we're going to make our way a bit further down the road, feature a couple of the other really nice places, and we're also going to get into a bit of the history of West Dearborn as well, cover a bit more than we did in the intro, so let's get rolling. All right, so we just came from those nice new developments down there, and I wanted to make a quick pit stop down here, sort of off Michigan Avenue a little bit, to talk about these three restaurants in here, or I suppose one bakery and two restaurants. These are all places that I quite enjoy, and I wanted to give them a quick shout out. We have Noah's Smokehouse right next to me here. Some very, very nice barbecue. Again, we'll be featuring all these in later episodes, hopefully. But I wanted to give a quick little visual tour of the alleyway here. So as we walk on backwards here, you'll notice that these buildings, like I mentioned in the intro, are a nice mixture of old and new. And there is, continuous improvements going on here, but the aesthetics always remain the same, which I really like. I mean, I kind of like this sort of 1800s, I guess they would call it the federal style, like I said for the building in the intro, these federal style buildings. But anyway, next to me here we have Cannoli Pastry here, which is a quite nice bakery. So if you're liking, croissants, sort of European style pastries, after your Noah's Smokehouse barbecue, or even a steak from Mint over here, it's a nice stop to make. So as we continue to walk down here, you'll notice a couple of other nice things as well. It's just, the feel of this place is really nice, really just sort of eclectic, I guess is maybe the right word. It's a vibe that I really enjoy. Now, as we move a little bit further backwards, we're coming up on Mint here. Now, Mint's a bit more pricey, I'm not gonna lie. It's one of our more fancy restaurants here on Michigan Avenue. It has, steaks and, your classic sort of steakhouse fare to go along with it. But again, it's quite tasty, quite nice. And I do recommend giving it a try if you're in the area and you're looking for something a little bit more upscale, a little bit more fancy. But regardless, I figured I'd make a quick pit stop down here, feature these three places real quick before we make our way a bit further down the road. So, let's keep on moving. We're cutting back once again. I really wanted to stop really quick and just feature another historical site here in Dearborn. We have the U.S. Arsenal here. So, of course, as the name suggests, this is where you would have kept weapons and all that. But as you may know from the intro, the Commandant's Quarters is just down the road a little bit, so this would have been suitable placement for this arsenal here. But I just wanted to stop real quick, point it out. It's one of those lesser-known historical structures here in Dearborn. So let's continue down the road and keep this up. All right, so we're making another quick pit stop here as we're walking down the road a little bit further to our next main destination on Michigan Avenue. But I really just wanted to point out something that I really like about Detroit in general, the Detroit area, but specifically West Dearborn nowadays, and even East Dearborn to an extent. But regardless, we have these beautiful murals and these beautiful art pieces and these really nice sort of plazas that you'll find all along this road here. I mean, they're just, little alcoves you can come in and sit, and it's just a very relaxing spot. And I think that's something really wonderful about this area, is there's, you know, plenty of outdoor seating, plenty of places you can just kick back and relax as you're making a way along here. So it's very pedestrian friendly, and it's very, you know, aesthetically pleasing as well. It's very enjoyable to walk down the road. But that's something I just wanted to point out real quick, as well as the fact that there's a couple of restaurants here as well. We have Brome to my right here, which shares this plaza with this lovely art installation. And then we have a couple of other restaurants behind our lovely cameraman. We have a kebab restaurant. I think it's called Malik Al Kebab. And then we have a brunch house as well, which is sort of a new development for this area. I've never seen one of those before, so I'm kind of excited to feature that place in specifics. But regardless, I just wanted to stop real quick and talk about the artwork and talk about how wonderful it is to walk through these areas. Oh, a little side note. As you may know, a lot of American towns, they used to have these sort of wall-to-wall buildings. And that's sort of where we get these thin little plazas from, is where buildings used to be back in the day. So it's a little peek into American history as well, you know, sort of in the footsteps. So as we're moving down the road here, we're approaching sort of more of the main parts of West Dearborn here, where more of the restaurants are based, at least more of the established ones. But I wanted to stop real quick and talk a little bit about the architecture, of all things, right? For Lunch King, we're talking about buildings. But anyway, I wanted to point out these newer buildings, the branch library, and then you'll see the plazas behind us, and many other areas are sticking on theme with these wonderful old stone brick buildings. Now, I do wish I could show you a lot of these buildings. You can see one of them just off to my left there is a church. But we have these wonderful houses, these wonderful neighborhoods, you know, sort of idyllic with these trees and these stone houses and stone buildings that really give West Dearborn a unique feel in my mind. Regardless, I just wanted to sort of mention how this sort of area is remaining on theme for the most part, though. So that's something I find kind of cool. They're finding good ways to mix the old and the new. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that real quick. If you do come to West Dearborn, do venture outside of, you know, the corridor here. Do venture outside of Michigan Avenue. You'll see some very lovely buildings. So we've reached our next main focal point, at least in my mind, on the Michigan Avenue West Dearborn portion here. You can see the Chamber of Commerce Welcome Center just behind me, their sign at least. But I wanted to stop real quick here, not for that, but for something a bit more important, just over the sign over there. We have a branch of Buddy's Pizza right here. Now, anyone from the Detroit area is going to know what Buddy's is. Buddy's is the pioneer restaurant, the pioneer bar, I should say, for the Detroit-style pizza. Now, for those of you not from the Detroit area, the Detroit-style pizza is, at least in my mind, it's my favorite, but I'm a bit biased, of course. It's a thicker crust, what we would call an oil pan style pizza. So, you know, you think the Motor City, right? They make pizzas with the same thing that we make cars. Of course, washed, of course, but you know, I think that's really, really interesting, a really nice sort of cultural tidbit that, you know, all those factories, you know, churning out all those automobiles across the world, we use those same implements to make some very delicious pizza as well. But Buddy's was a bar in Detroit that has since branched out into many different locations in the local area that serves this wonderful Detroit-style pizza. Now, at some point we're going to feature that more in depth, but I really want to just real quick talk about it. If I know my history correctly about Buddy's, it was the owner's wife, I believe. The owner worked at a factory, and his wife developed these Detroit-style oil pan pizzas. It really is the most delicious thing, I think. You know, it's crispy on the outsides, and you know the cheese is, you know, very well cooked on the top, and there's little dollops of sauce and toppings there as well. Very, very tasty. But again, we'll be featuring that more in depth when we do some more talking about Buddy's and the Detroit-style restaurant. We'll probably visit the original location, so watch out for that soon. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit more about West Dearborn itself at this second sort of main focal point on the road, the central location. This is, of course, the downtown of Dearborn, this whole stretch. We do have behind my cameraman and way down the road, we have U of M Dearborn, we have Henry Ford College, so this is really a living city with a lot of, you know, life and a lot of youth in it as well. But, you know, that being said, it's not all these hipster, you know, local restaurants. if you are into chains, we do have a fair few of those as well. We have some Jimmy John's there if you're looking for a quick sandwich, as you all know, and then we have a Mongolian barbecue, which is, you know, according to your taste, it's quite good. I spent some time there with my friends. I really enjoy it. You know, I got no complaints about anywhere here on West Dearborn so far. A little bit further down, you'll see a local hamburger restaurant, famous hamburger. Worth a look if you're looking for something like that. Now, a little bit more about this this sort of section of the city. There is, at least in normal circumstances, we'll have a lot of events down on these parts. We'll have festivals and fairs. We have a pretty large church that's down the road. It's called Sacred Heart. They'll hold little festivals and all that as well. But we have, you know, food truck rallies and all that. Just a lot of really interesting little events that'll crop up in the summer and fall and spring around here. Anyway, yes, we have a lot of really nice fairs and events that happen all over Dearborn, but a lot of them are centered here in West Dearborn. Now, one of them to look out for later in the summer is the Homecoming, which is sort of famous for us Dearbornites here. It's a huge event. So if you do happen to be here in early August, do check out the Homecoming. But regardless, that's just sort of like the culture, you know. Every city's got its things and all that, and yes, that might not be unique having those fairs, but they do have their own sort of vibe to them. So I just wanted to point out that a little bit as we move a bit further down the road. So let's keep walking and see what else we got. So as we're making our way to our next sort of central hub here, I wanted to talk real quick about our friends here at Thai Cafe. The cameraman and I, we have frequented this place quite a bit, and it holds a special place in my heart. So we've been coming here for almost 3 years now. I really enjoy their food. We haven't featured them as of now, but I really wanted to give them a strong shout out. So if you're in the area, you love Thai food, come to Thai Cafe. Tell them we say hi as well. I'm sure they won't know our names, but they'll learn it. They'll learn them eventually, right? All right, so here's sort of our next and last focal point here on Michigan Avenue, or at least this section of West Dearborn's Michigan Avenue. I wanted to talk about it real quick, not necessarily because of the food itself, but because this is a nice place to gather. So if you're in the area, it's a nice spot to sort of just stop, take a load off. We have a couple of nice restaurants, of course, if you're into that. But more importantly, at least in my eyes, there's a very wonderful coffee shop behind us. Now, we're not really a big coffee channel, I'd say, but I do want to give a shout out to Common Grace Coffee. Now, if you like board games, you like coffee, you like good pastries and all that, Common Grace is the place to stop. It's a lot of fun there. You can sit and chat with your friends. It's sort of it's always a living place as well. You know, students frequent that area to study, so it really does have this very upbeat, alive feeling, and they're playing music all the time. It's a great spot to stop by. The staff are really nice, so if you're looking for, you know, a post-dinner coffee or just a place to take a load off, or even, you know, somewhere to stop in the mornings, this is the place to go. It's just right off Michigan Avenue in this little plaza here. Now, as well as Common Grace, we have Bar Louie, which is a national chain, like I talked about. We're not all hipster here in the Detroit area. We do have these national chains, as you'd expect. And then behind our lovely director is Himalayan Flames. Now, Himalayan Flames is probably one of our personal favorites in this area. We've come to that area quite a bit. It's just unique, you know. You don't see a lot of Tibetan food, you know, Indian and Tibetan food in this area, but they deliver it really well. And though, you know, we haven't reviewed it formally yet, I do say, you know, from my personal experience, it is my favorite Indian restaurant, my favorite, I suppose, you know, Indian Himalayan restaurant in the Detroit area. The food is phenomenal. I highly recommend their butter chicken and their rice pudding and their mango lassi. But again, we'll get into that when we feature the restaurant itself, but I really wanted to give them a big mention because they are probably the best Indian food in the area right now. Now let's keep on walking a little bit more. I have one more place I'd like to feature that I talked about a bit earlier. It's Sacred Heart Church. It's a beautiful building, and that'll sort of be our ending point on this walk down the road real quick. But regardless, this little plaza, as you can see, very nice ambiance. Now, it is a little bit dead right now due to the COVID crisis and all that, but when it is up and going, it really is up and going. So let's go a little bit further, and we'll close out this lovely section of West Dearborn here. All right, so real quickly, as I mentioned in the intro, we're gonna cut real quick to Greenfield Village, and I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about that, what's going on, give you a bit of the news and a bit of an overview. I wanted to feature them real quick, but anyway, let's head down there. All right, everybody, we figured we'd take a quick aside from our Michigan Avenue journey here to stop by Greenfield Village and the Henry Ford Museum briefly. Now, as you may or may not know, with the current global pandemic, the institution has closed down for the time being. So what you're witnessing here is sort of an unprecedented emptiness for this area, and we kind of wanted to showcase it just to remind people that, yes, while it is shut down now, soon enough, we're going to be having our doors open again, and there's going to be plenty of life back in this place. So really something to look forward to from a place that's, you know, quite unique in the country. We've been here a couple times before. You may have seen our Mrs. Fisher's video, which featured the inside of Greenfield Village, and we will be featuring some of the places inside the museum and some of the other places inside the village as well, when situation allows, of course. So if you'd like to join me, we're going to get a little bit closer and we're going to see what's what, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the institution briefly. So we've made our way up to the front gate here. As you can see, of course, it is all locked up, unfortunately, for a little while longer. But I just wanted to briefly tell you guys a little bit more general things about the institution and sort of give you guys a quick view of our animals and all that as well. Some of our animals, you can see they're doing just fine despite the situation here. But anyway, as you know from our previous videos, of course, this is a living history attraction. So the buildings in here normally would have presenters in them that would tell you more about the history of the area. Really a great spot to check out if you're in the West Dearborn area or if you're in the Detroit area at all. I mean, it's sort of a must-see if you're coming to the U.S. from internationally, and if you're coming from, you know, across the country, this is a great spot to stop by as well. Now, we have sort of a couple of distinct sections that you might want to check out. You have Firestone Farm, which is to my right directly, which we can't see, unfortunately, but it's a 7-acre historic farm. And then behind me, we have our Porches and Parlors, Main Street. We have our Liberty Craftworks section as well, where they make actual artisan goods in there. So when you do come to Dearborn, if you do come to Dearborn, if you come to Michigan, period, I would recommend a stop at Greenfield Village. Come and show your love to this wonderful institution. I really hope you enjoyed our video today. It's something new, it's something a bit different, but I think you guys will get a kick out of it. So, once again, I am Ryan at Lunch King. Thank you for joining me. Signing off.